connected. It's coming. You're fading in and out.
I am, huh?
Yeah. I just checked mine. I'm nice and strong. Check yours and make sure.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do about it, but
that sounds a little better. It might have been on my side. I reconnected the mesh network. Let's see if that works.
Well, it's actually showing a little weak on my side, but my internet connection is pretty strong.
Cool. Okay. Whatever one of us is going to do sounds better.
We'll see.
And now, Detailing Success and PNS Double Black present the Renny Doyle Podcast, a podcast for blue-collar entrepreneurs. Hosted by the detailer of Air Force One and founder of both Detailing Success and the Detail Mafia, Renny Doyle. And now, here's Renny.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Well, calm before the storm. We got another series of storms coming in. Looks like it's starting to come in right now.
Yeah, I was pulling up some. I was going to share. You sent me a really beautiful picture the other day, so I was going to share that with everybody.
Yeah, that was from the top of the ski mountain. Got a few runs in. It's been awesome because nobody's been here. So it's like 1990 again. Crowds are small, and it's been awesome. So it's businesses are hurting though, and I think they're doing a trial. They're going to open up the most remote route back up here, which everybody's fight. I mean, not everybody. Anybody with, I know businesses are hurting, but it's going to be a disaster. And we'll just wait and see what happens because, we got another storm coming in and this one's wet and it's going to bring shit down. So,
yeah.
Anyway, hey, we got people from all over the place. Good. Thank you for, sounds good. But we've got, hey, Tommy, what's up, buddy? We got a lot of cool people. Puerto Rico is in the house. Dang. Southwest side of Chicago. I like it. Dom's in the house. Damn, Spencer. Do we rent or own our DI tanks? Well, here where I live, it's almost impossible to rent anything. You got to buy them. When we ran shops, we did both. We owned some in Dallas. We owned our DI tanks. Because it was real easy. And then in Idaho, we had to rent them. So it just depends on what's up. So good question. Thanks for the update on the sound. Thank you very much. Good morning. I got a couple people from Puerto Rico here. Frank, what's up, buddy?
We can always count on Frank. Man.
Yeah, Frank's always here. So let's jump into it, shall we? It's going to be fun. So permanent potential mode. What the heck does that mean? Successful. I always tell Diane when it comes to not just business, but most things I'm interested in life is I don't have an on-off switch, as I got a dimmer switch, and so I can take and dim down the light, or I can bring it up all the way. And so I think most people, a lot of entrepreneurs are that way. Is that we never really turn it off, and so the potential mode's completely always on. I think that if you're able to control that potential mode and be able to, again, dimmer it down when it needs to be, the thing I don't do is a lot of times when we go to Diane and I are having dinner at home after hours, I just don't, but I'm constantly somebody will say something on TV, or we'll be out to dinner and I'll hear a conversation and I'm just taking mental notes constantly, but that dimmer switch it's down. It's really low. And so, successful people never stop dreaming. We never stop. The idea mill's constantly going. We're constantly looking at opportunities. The other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that, especially in blue collar, especially in automotive blue collar, because it's kind of newer. The trades. My brothers are plumbers and electricians, and so they're in the professional trades, right? And detailing has gotten to the point where it is a professional trade now, but it's a youthful professional trade. Contractors know how to have fun. They know how to party. They know how to take and get out, and take the side-by-sides out and get away for a weekend and go on trips and vacations. And unfortunately, a lot of people in automotive blue collar, we don't, is that all we do is grind, and burn out. It goes hand in hand with one another, where really, truly successful people know how to take that dimmer switch down on the business side, not off, because even when I'm out mountaineering or I'm skiing, is sometimes I'm on my horse. Sometimes when I'm relaxed and just centered, I actually have some of the best ideas, because it allows my brain, the cream rises to the top, so to say. Also, notice with successful people is that adventure, the sense of adventure, and in business, but outside of business too, is just in life is I've said it before, is they've got like this addiction to adventure and kind of edgy stuff. And I love edgy stuff. And so, and then a lot of people get bored really easy. So we're going to talk about all these things today, and how to kind of put yourself in that permanent potential mode, because a lot of people, they want to be there, but and a lot of people don't believe this, is that when you don't know how to control that dimmer switch, you're actually going to slow down your progress. You're going to actually slow down your success, or you're going to create this horrible life. And that's just my opinion. And that opinion comes from a wide 360-degree angle that a lot of people just don't have the advantage of having. And that's because of my ventures within, search and rescue, the military, and everything else, of seeing the backside of successful people that just have it on. They never turn it off, and really how miserable a lot of their lives are. And so we'll talk about that today. Now, small talk is we've had a wild couple weeks, especially here. We've gotten all this snow. It's made national headlines. We still have people in the West, really suffering, right? This week we're supposed to have an event here in Big Bear. We had to. Saturday is going to be we're having a distributor experience event with P&S, and the whole P&S team coming in, and then 12 members of our distribution team coming in to have an event here in Big Bear. But unfortunately, on the travel days, is we've got this storm coming in. It's probably going to bring down a lot of rock fall and everything else. And so, unfortunately, we're going to have to reschedule that one, because we just don't want to put people in harm's way. And so we've been busy around here. We've had some really cool stuff going on in the Mafia. We've got one of our members, Britt, that's doing a series right now to help people grow. We've got a brand new, we just had a meeting yesterday with our business guidance for newer people that are taking and kind of learning the dimmer switch, as they're learning how to grow during slow times, and how to deal with being kind of broke, where they just don't have a lot of money coming in. And it's exciting, because all of us were new at one time, and teaching these, it's really fun. It's the first time we've done this, but not organized like we're doing right now. And I really applaud the generation of entrepreneurs coming in. Some of them are really young, for standing up and saying, "Hey man, I need a little help." We just did a podcast on that, when to ask for help. And all these professionals they stood up, put their hands up, and say, "Yeah, I could use that." And so they're going to go through what Brent's is a 4-week program, 3 or 4-week program.
Yeah, Brent's doing a 4-week program on identifying, I guess, your strengths and weaknesses in your market, your competitors, all kinds of, just doing a full analysis of your business in your market and the businesses around you.
And then right behind that, we're going to jump in, not the same group, but some of the same members. We're going to jump into another 4 weeks. We just had the first session, so we're going to go 3 more weeks with these folks, probably 4. We'll probably repeat this one, because they're going to learn a lot in that first 4 sessions, and it's going to be a little different world in 4 weeks. We're going to be coming out of winter, going into spring. Some are going to be a little busier, and so we got just so many cool, book club meetings are going on right now, where we're coming in and analyzing, as a group, going over books and so forth. And then we just did the pre-selection for Air Force One project, the 20th anniversary, this July. That just happened. We've had applications in from Mafia members for the last month. And we just closed out that, and we just went through and started IDing teams and team members, where to put them, our strengths and our weaknesses, and figuring out the personnel side of Air Force One, which is really exciting. So it's been busy. Today's going right back into it, and we've got a beautiful day ahead tomorrow too. Try to go up while the crowds are little. I'm going to try to go up and get 10 runs in real quick with a buddy of mine. It's kind of cool is that it's old time Big Bear, because, I'm meeting pals up there, and normally you can't even get, right now Big Bear's been discovered. It's really tough to get up there. Tuesday, Wednesday is a little easier, but Mondays are crowded. Thursdays it starts getting crowded. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is just out of the question. You can't even ski anymore. So it kind of takes the fun out of it. But it's been really fun these last, couple weeks, is that, we're just meeting pals up there and skiing. And I got a video of this kid, friend of a friend, doing backflips with his snowboard. And that was pretty impressive. Kid could board like you wouldn't believe. So hey, so let's jump into this tournament potential mode. The moment I get up, so here's this just isn't, I've learned this from a lot of sources, and this recipe that I'm going to share today didn't just pop into my mind. This wasn't my idea. Some of them things that I brought into it on my own, but now taking and being exposed to successful people for 25 years, and I'm talking super successful people, and when my idea of success, wealth versus riches, is two different things. And so when I say successful people, I'm talking people that are self-reliant on themselves, that are happy in their marriage, happy in their lives. They've got enough, meaning they've got enough funds, but they keep growing. I watched one of my really good clients. He was my age when I met him. Now he's in his 70s, and he has just kept on. I mean, he skis, still up in Sun Valley. I got to talk to him just a couple weeks ago, and he is just still gobbles up business, and he gobbles up adventure, and he gobbles up fun, and his life is so full. And it has been, I'm sure when he was younger, 40 years ago before I met him, he's, in the learning stages and really cranking it out. But man, this dude has just learned to have more and more fun in his life. And what a testimony for all of us, and what a goal to set out. So this is from those items. So this is how I give myself an edge in life and business is by, when you first wake up in the morning, these are the things that you want to do. The first thing that enters my mind, I love every day, is that whether I'm, don't have any people in town right now, whether I'm putting on a 5-day, whether I have a 1-day, we're going to do, I had a really rough time. Yesterday was one of the first times I've ever had to cancel. Actually, the second time I've ever had to cancel an event. And now I'm stressed out because we've got a 5-day next week. So we're really watching that to make sure that we're going to have a safe environment. But last night I had to get my head right before I went to sleep. I had to be thankful for, hey, we've got the technology to keep people safe now. I've got insight that other people don't have because of the military, and Diane works for the fire department, and we're using all these avenues to make sure, the last couple of weeks, that we are helping people that needed help, and now we're helping ourselves to make sure the people that we represent are safe. So the first thing in the morning when I wake up is, man, I'm 100% thankful. I'm just thankful. I wake up no matter what I'm going to do, and I'm excited about doing it, and I'm happy about being where I'm at. And I love what I do. I love where I'm at. I love where I live. I love who I'm living life with. I love the people around me. I don't have any excess, garbage in my life. I'm just really at a good spot. And so the first thing I do is be thankful in the morning. The second thing I do is I really meditate on that, and I really think about those things, and I concentrate on where I've been. And I'm so thankful of where I was. I'm so thankful of where I'm at, and I'm so thankful of where I'm going. And I envision, and I close my eyes right now because I envision what's going to happen in the coming hours, in the coming days, weeks, months. And I look out a little bit, and I kind of have a vision for my life of where I want to go. Most of all of that when I meditate is just being freaking grateful. It's all it is. And then I say, kind of got a ritual for prayer. And a lot of people think meditation and prayer is the same thing. And it's not. It's just completely different. Is when my prayers are just, I'm so, thankful for everything. Last year was a tough year. I'm thankful for that, believe it or not. Yesterday, kind of a tough day. We had several things going on, and I just woke up this morning and everything was okay. And I was so thankful for the people that I had in my life mainly, and the love I've got in my life. And it's just that I'm praying for those people. And then I read. Today was kind of a short read. I only did about 15 minutes. I'm really back into reading big time again. Then I got up and I ate. You got to start the day out and you got to eat. And then I will do my workout after the podcast. So I've got my station already set up. I've got my workout already planned. I'll come back out. I'll do a little business for probably about a half an hour, and I'll go up and I'll get some joy in my life. And for me today, that's going to be a little skiing, 8 to 10 runs, and I'm done. And so you've got to start your day out and listen. It sounds like a busy morning. It is. And so there's mornings that this morning I was up a little late. I was up about 5:45. That's kind of late for me. Usually, since really the first of the year, I'm usually 5:15, 5:30. I don't turn my phone on, though. Matter of fact, my phone's on Do Not Disturb, and it's on private mode, I think, until 7 a.m. It doesn't even turn on until then. And so it is a hectic schedule, but once you get used to that, it just flows. Now, usually I have my workout already done, but this morning I spoke with my brother a little bit. I spoke with our daughter that's going down the hill. So I had some other things going on that were good things. And so in the morning, I don't let bad things enter my mind, because there's going to be those challenges. Yesterday was one of them where I had to deal with challenges, and that's just going to be factual. That's part of life. I didn't want anything to enter my mind this morning. I wanted to stay really, really freaking positive. And I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference on how you handle things. The things I don't do in the morning, this is really important. I don't jump on my phone. I leave my phone alone. Everything that I need to handle is going to be handleable after 7 a.m. Okay. Really, even at 7 a.m., I'm not, there's a half dozen people that will get my attention on business that early in the morning. Bob and Chris are one of them, two of them right then and there, and Oscar. And so if there's a 911 and I got to deal with it, naturally I jump in, because sometimes when we wake up, the East Coast has already got a 3-hour jump on us. And so there's things going on in people's lives. So every once in a while I have to kind of handle that. I completely stay away from social media. Is that I still haven't been on social media this morning. There's just no reason for it. Is that you've got to take and stay away from that. I want my own life to be an influence, not others. At this point in the morning, not other people's. I just want my focus on what my life needs to be for the day, what my time is dedicated to for the day, and making sure that I've got 5,000 connections on Facebook. We've got, combined with our accounts, is 30 or 40,000 people on Instagram. I'm going to go on and give condolences today. Is somebody, probably several people, lost people overnight or in the last couple of days. And that I hate to see other people's pain, right? But I can't get that first thing in the morning. I can't let that feed me. Is that I got to get my own life in order, and I've got to get my own brain ramped up, and I got to get my emotions in control, and then we move on. So the other thing that I do is implanting. Now, this is crazy. A lot of people think this is absolutely nuts. And I heard Oprah Winfrey talking about this for years, and I thought she's crazy. And then as I started studying it, and just probably 4 or 5 years ago, in the last 4 or 5 years, is I've had other really successful people share this. And I think it wasn't shared by a lot of people before this, because there's people like I did thought people were nuts when they talked about it. And I'm going to tell you, it's not. And so implanting goals into my mind is I vision where I want to be. Oprah Winfrey always talked about this. There's several other people that Ed Milet talks about it a lot. Is I want to see my life as I'm building it. I want to be able to envision it. Now, one of the tricks that I use is my wife is superhuman to me. She's everything in my life. Almost 30 years together. There's days that, each of us have a ditch dug with the shovel ready to go shove the other one into the hole. But we've got almost 30 years together. And she's the light of my life. And even during the dark days, she's the one that brightens my life up, and vice versa. I've got I took a picture of her probably 20 years ago. And to me, that photo will always be who Diane is. And I can envision that in my mind. This is really tricky. The photo, when I took it, I was playing around with the camera I had, and I took it in black and white. But I saw it in color when she was standing there. And so I can see the photo in black and white, but with my eyes closed right now, I can switch it over to color as it was how I saw it through my eye. And then I can turn it back to black and white as I saw it in the photo. And that's a real skill set, and it takes a long time to vision things like that. So I've been using that for a long time. Our property, when we bought our property 3.5 years ago, some of the things that we've done to the property, the shop and everything else, it's coming. This year is going to be a big year for that. Hopefully, is that we can get our backyard done, and we vision that. And Diane this is when I was first really learning this, and she's like, "God, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm implanting all these things and ideas." So we've got a couple business opportunities popping this year. In the same thing, I'm now doing that. And we had a meeting not too long ago, and Chris will remember this meeting, is that everything's starting to come together on this one company. And it's just, it's badass. And so now I'm taking in and implanting, visions of how I want to take and market this whole opportunity. And I'll tell you, it makes me so excited to think about it. We've got a couple new products coming out within P&S Double Black. And again, we've gotten word back from our testing, everything else, that one of the products that we're introducing here shortly, it's pretty badass. And so I'm really thinking about the marketing, how I'm going to use the product, different ways that it's going to change the systems and processes that we teach. So all these different things, implanting it's goals in my mind, it's ideas in my mind, but I've got to be able to vision it. I don't think if you can. And again, is Oprah was way ahead of herself. She was talking about this 25, 30 years ago. And maybe it's just because of my background, I don't know. That was hokey, to me. And to some of you listening, it still is. But take it for what it's worth, man. If you can take and research it and start learning it, it's not some mythical universe or anything like that. It's your mind power is incredible. And when you have these ideas and goals in your mind and you can see them, it's more realistic to chase them, and it's more realistic to build them, and it's more realistic that they're going to happen. It's not some foo-foo, out of body experience, man. It's just not. And honestly, when I was younger, that's what I kind of thought it was. It kind of spooked me. It's not that at all. It's just what your mind, it's like your mouth. I read an incredible quote, and I'm actually going to put it up for some friends of mine, is that what you say aloud out to people isn't near as important as what you whisper to yourself. And that was Richard Kiyosaki from, I think that's his name, from Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. That is an incredible statement. So the thing why I wake up, we'll jump back a little bit, is why I wake up with really good thoughts and I get rid of the stinking thinking, as I call it, is what you whisper silently to yourself from within your soul. That's the shit that's either going to make you or break you. And so if you think negative of yourself in any positive, in any way, even if you're putting this fake smile on and you're going about your day, but deep down you're like, man, I'm a loser. This isn't going to happen. I'm struggling. Here I'm putting out to the universe that, I'm successful. First off, calm it down a little bit. Okay. Don't put out that, I've seen all too many people fake it until they make it and they die. And so be real. Don't tell people you're struggling, but don't sell that you're super successful. The thing that I see right now is all these blue collar people just building these unbelievable shops with unbelievable debt. I would have never done that. And here's why, is because when you're new and you're young, is that the reason why guys my age or gals my age are going to help you is that they know the struggle. If they see that you've got all this fancy shit they're just going to think that, man, you know, mommy and daddy helped you out. You really don't need my business. But when you're starting out and you're modest and you're hungry, and they can sense that you're hungry and you're modest, man, you're not going to believe who helped you grow. But when you get up there and you jump and you're playing big chief, and I'm telling you, it's not going to turn out well. I'm not telling you your shop not to look good. I'm just saying grow at a natural pace that matches your platform and your reality. And so there's nothing wrong. You know, my next shop, I'm visioning this, dude, I could live the rest of my life in my home and my shop and be content. But I'm already envisioning. I saw one last night. I constantly look at real estate, really into the real estate thing. And I found a shop that this person had built. It's exactly double the size of mine. Oh my, what they did to it is almost exactly, it's the bones of what I would do with my next shop. So there's nothing wrong with dreaming and putting it out there, but you also have to face your realities of what's going on. And so that's an important part. So what you really think becomes reality. So now, first things first, remove doubts from you. Okay. You have got to take and believe that you're going to be able to do this thing at all costs. Now, there's where it separates people, though, is a lot of people will remove doubts, but they're not going to have to take in their survival instincts is that it's what we call in search and rescue these days is rescue by cell phone. Is so many adventurers go out with their cell phones. We just had that happen here with these big storms. We had, you know, these 7 snowboarders decide that, hey, dude, man, we're going to go out of bounds. And the next thing you know is they're in a blizzard, they're in trouble. And they got down to the bottom of a canyon, and Sheriff's Department basically said, hey, break into one of the cabins, hunker down, and we'll see you in a couple of days when the storm passes. It's lucky that they could find a cabin to hunker down in because they would have been dead, right? So remove doubts. But their thing was they did the smart thing. They reached out. They're able to hit. But what if they wouldn't have? What if they wouldn't have had that rescue line? What if you don't have a rescue line? What if your rescue line gets tired of feeding your ignorance on fire? Meaning that every time, if you're going to family for loans and building your dream and you keep going and keep going and keep going, eventually that rescue line is going to go away. You're not going to have that anymore. But all you're going to have is a big pile of debt behind you to try to pay off. You just set yourself up for failure. Totally. I didn't carry debt on my company, not even on a credit card. I didn't get my first line of credit until probably 7 to 10 years in, somewhere right in there. And for the first line of credits, we really didn't touch. I built what we've got. And Chris will tell you, man, I'm real modest with, you know, I shared this, you know, yesterday. I just went and bought a new pair of ski goggles. My last pair were probably 6 years old. And I sat there in the store. I got plenty of money to freaking buy. I could buy every set of goggles in the store. I sat there and said, okay, do I really need that? What's a want versus a need? And so is removing doubt is also removing the rose-colored sunglasses, the rose-colored glasses, is look at everything with extreme reality. The next thing to do is remove negative thoughts. You cannot let negative thoughts, even if you're in a tough time, is you're going to get out of this. And if you believe that it's like the snowboarders, listen, they believe in themselves. They had to drop down almost 3,000 feet, 2,500 feet. And then they had to go find a cabin. Then they had to figure out a way to break into it. Is they found a way and they did it, and it saved their lives. When you remove negative thoughts, you're going to find a way. And it's going to be getting a side hustle, turning your full-time into a side hustle and getting a full-time job until you can make your side hustle a full-time thing. Is that there was no option for failure. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have a plan C. I knew I was going to go out and make this thing happen. I knew I was going to have to work my ass off. I knew I was going to have a side gig during the first few winters. And I was okay with all of those things, and it worked out pretty well. The next thing is have faith. What's faith mean? A lot of people think when they think that, they think their grandma and grandpa going to church. That could be it. So for me, definitely my faith in God is part of it. But aside from that is our the spirit inside of us, is the God inside of us, the God that built us in my mind, is that you have to have God put faith into yourself. And you can either have faith or lose faith or not have faith in yourself. You have got to believe in yourself that you're capable. but you don't want to over believe in yourself, and you want to be real. And so you've got to have that faith in yourself. You've got to have faith in your abilities. Now, if you don't have many abilities, maybe you're young or you're coming out of a long career and you're getting into something new, is you got to build those abilities up. And you got to realize that no matter what your platform, no matter what you did before this, is you're starting new again, is that you're starting at ground zero. The thing that's going to propel you, though, is that your life experiences are going to, if you're very real with yourself and you have faith, is even though your abilities right now may be at ground zero, if you allow your life experiences to work for you and you humble yourself and you're ready to go back to ground zero, is you're going to excel a lot faster than the average person because you've got a lot more life experiences there. The next thing is having faith is in your relationships. And I can tell you right now, happy spouse, happy life. So there's a saying, happy wife, happy life. That is so true. You have got to take, and the most important relationships to you is your family. And that's both your close family and your extended family. And then it's your friendships and your colleagues in business. And so your relationships, and then it's your customers, is do they trust you? Trust is absolutely everything in business, absolutely everything. And having a legitimate relationship with other people is absolutely important. It's a must. You've got, above anything else in business, is I want to build solid relationships. Is I want to take, and there was times where people would come into the shop, they'd want something done, and I'd say, you don't need to spend this kind of money. Let's do this. And I would downsell them instead of upselling. Everybody talks about the upsell, but it didn't happen all the time, but it happened on a consistent level. Is I'd look at people's cars and be real with them. Listen, you're kind of rough on cars. This is what's going to happen. This is what I suggest. And in the long run, it built a lot more trust up. They weren't spending the money. They didn't need to. We were selling them what they needed. And I got to tell you that the value that brought to us and the positive statements made from our customers to other people was just catastrophic. It just catapulted us. Next is again, first things first, you got to continue to educate yourself. Never stop. I'm constantly reading. I'm constantly studying. All platforms of life and multiple generations. We've got several generations in business right now. We've got some amazing, like I said, I've got my superpower, just over the top freaking mentors are all in their 70s and 80s now. God, I get so much out of them. It's unreal, right? Then the next ones are colleagues of peers. They're my age. I get so much out of them. Then the next one is the middle age group of entrepreneurs. I get so much out of them. And then we've got this youth coming into entrepreneurship. I get so much out of them. Is I learn from every platform and every generation that's in business right now, good and bad, is that I just constantly educate myself. I'm constantly studying. I'm constantly looking at technology. I'm constantly reading books. I'm constantly going back and reading old books. I just mentioned a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. God, I read that 30 years ago, almost 30 years, got to be close to that when that book came out. I just read it again. It's incredible. The original version of it. It's incredible. Art of War. I've got a condensed version of Art of War that my oldest daughter Ryan gave me years ago. Is that I'm going to start that next. I'm going to read through it. It's just Art of War is a big mega book. So what she did is this condensed version has just got kind of the best of the best. Absolutely freaking love it. I just love it. And then lastly, first things first, is create healthy habits. As I mentioned mine earlier, is getting up with the right attitude, is having a little time to really concentrate and really just meditate on what my life is and how thankful I should be for everything. And then, spending some time in prayer for me is huge. It's absolutely huge. Why do I meditate before prayer? Because I found that when I meditate and I kind of really concentrate, and you could call it just concentrating on my life around me, is I find out some things that I might be struggling with a little bit when I have my quiet time to myself. And those are things that I can take and really chat with God at and say, hey, dude, I need patience, man. I need to be patient with this person. Or, I need you to help me set boundaries with this person. Usually the things I need help with are things that I want to make myself better at, that maybe I've got a weakness, or I want to do better with people. And so that's a lot of my meditation, a lot of my prayers go to that. So now is dreams. I love this. Dreams and goals, the life and business you want. Can you vision them? Can you really seriously vision your life and dreams? So here's something that I really concentrate on. How do I want to make my wife's life better? And we recently, I was just talking to her this weekend, and we recently made a change in Diane's life, a big one. And I've seen her really settle in the last like 10 days. I've just seen my wife grow so substantially. And I was talking to her, and she's so happy. And I'm so happy that I played a little tiny part in allowing her to grow as a person. And so my visions, that was so awesome. Our properties, I'm really into real estate, and this property, we've had 3 properties up here, and it's just, I love to vision what it's going to look like in the future of what I could build out, but also how it would take and play out with the people around me having that property. And then our way of life, how we're living now and how we're going to live, in the immediate future, in the next year, and then looking out 4 or 5 years. Living the good life. What I mean by that is, Diane and I are real simple, is that, I told you, ski goggles, is I contemplate everything I purchase, is that I just don't need, I've got everything I really, really, really need. Is that there's a lot of wants out there, and I've gone through different chapters of want. And right now I'm just at a chapter of solitude. I'm very happy where I'm at and what I've got. I just don't need stuff. And so living the good life is that we're going out to dinner every night. Probably won't now because it's going to start getting crowded again once they open it up, but probably by, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to take, in the next several nights, we're going to go out and enjoy the local restaurants because they've been slow. We're tipping 100%. These are all restaurants that we know the staff. We deal with them all the time. Their tips, they live on tips up here. We're a resort community. And so we're really concentrating on helping others right now. Why? Because they help us. When we have clients come in, they treat us so good. The hotel that we put our students in, the restaurants that we enjoy, the restaurants we buy meals from, we want to support them. So that's what we're living right now. The good life to us is going out camping, spending time with my wife, Diane, spending time with our dogs, spending time with our horses, spending time with our kids are pretty much all grown. We got one at home. They're all independent. Is that when they can fit us in, we love it. And we don't push our way in. We just kind of let that happen. And then helping others. A big part of my life has been giving back. I always talk about is so many businesses just withdraw from the community. They're constantly taking withdrawals. They're constantly making a living. They don't put anything back into the community. And I'm not talking about donating money. I'm talking about donating your time, is helping others. A big part of my life has been search and rescue since I was a young man. I mean, really young, 30 plus years of going out and helping fellow, people, citizens. That's a skill set that I've got and I love. And now I incorporated a dog into it at one time. Now I've got my horse involved in it. I'm all these passions that I've got is 90% of what I dig in life, and 90% of what brings me good joy involves other people. And that's how I always have been since I was a kid. I'm going to die that way. I'm going to go out of this world always wanting to help people. And let me tell you, is probably 60% of those people that you help have got behind your back. They've got a knife to your back, and they're looking at just advancing themselves, because that's how ugly society is. It's nothing new. It's thousands of years old. Is that a lot of people you're going to come in contact with are just wanting to grow themselves off of your sweat. And that's just the way it is. I'm not going to change. All I do is I've really figured out boundaries now in relationships. And when I feel that happening, I just step back away from that person. Simple as that. No more than that. I don't hate on them. I don't dislike them. I just not going to take and give them time anymore. I'm going to give people time that I am willing to build you up. Are you willing to do the same? I am going to take and not just match your energy, good luck trying to keep up with the energy I give you. That's what I want, is I will meet and beat your energy. And that, to me, that just, it's priceless in life, and it's priceless in business, and it's priceless of being, it's called being a good human. And so you've got to take and do that. Business is that, visions. I don't, again, dimmer switch is it's never off. I've constantly, yesterday we had some challenges in the day, right? But it was such an amazing growth day. When Diane got home, she went out with some friends just to have a girls' night out, again, supporting our local restaurants. Is they all went out. I stayed home, and we had kind of she got home. I was beat. I was just mentally just worn out when she got home. She walked in, I greeted her, asked how it was, and bam, we went to bed. It was over. But even during having a very busy day yesterday, it was an amazing growth day. Is a lot of vision came out of it, and a lot of what came back into play was how I can take and help others. So now let's talk about something. Triggers. Triggers are something that when I see something, it triggers me to think about a goal or an action or a time. And so triggers. When my wife walks in from anywhere for the first time, I always try to greet her with love and appreciation. Doesn't always happen, but I try. That means that probably over 50% of the time I nail it. The rest of the time I don't, right? Because I'm not human. But it's a trigger, is that my wife likes to be touched. She likes me to touch her, on the leg. Just a simple little kiss on the forehead just makes her light up. And the same with me. When her touch is just 30 years later is just magic to me. And so we try to give each other that magic. And so every time I see my wife, that's a trigger point. I hope you guys are following this. My home, especially our kitchen, believe it or not, we my family, we didn't have a lot, but what we did have is on select holidays is that we cooked, and socializing in the kitchen is, I grew up coming through with my grandma. Is I was in there on Christmas, New Year's, Easter, is that we just cooked. On birthdays, we cooked. And it was a family affair. And I was with her. I was learning. I was tasting. I was, mixing. I was doing all these different things. So our house is my kitchen is ground zero. We've got a modest house, very modest house. But the kitchen is badass. And for me, it's my trigger of what was in my life, what is in my life, and what is coming of my life. And so it's a trigger for me to think, when I'm in there, it's hard for me to be in a bad mood. I don't like, and probably I don't think I've ever told anybody this. I don't like arguing in my kitchen. For me, it's a peaceful location. It's a bonding. I don't like having serious talks there. I want to keep it a joyful place. My shop. I walk out, and the first thing I did this morning is I looked around. Damn, I'm so fortunate and so lucky. It's a trigger. And I'm going to come back on something. The mountains behind me. It's Gold Mountain. This gets real emotional for me because the mountains are such a big part of my soul. And that mountain behind me has been my playground for 40 years. And not just that mountain, but mountains, period. The wilderness has been the biggest teacher and equalizer in my life. And these mountains, when I look, every once in a while, like all of us, I become unthankful. And we've got, COVID did something for Big Bear. It was discovered. It's become very obtainable and very travelable to the average person living in Southern California. Mind you, there's about 17 million people here. And so we get a lot of those people up here. And it really drives me crazy because it's changed the town. It's gotten very hard to go out and do what I love to do anymore. And that's ski and hike the local trails. But what I've learned to do is just, adapt. So instead of skiing as much as I do, I still ski. I still love it. I go out and spend time with my horses. There are no crowds out there. I go spend time on the mountain behind me. There are no crowds. Matter of fact, when I'm boo-hoo and I'm feeling sorry for myself, I remind myself, I can hike out my front door in 15 minutes. I will probably not see another human being for hours or days. Wham. So it's an equalizer to me. It's a trigger for me to be thankful. And then, believe it or not, every time I open a car door, this is the first time I've ever shared this with somebody, and I'm sharing it to just my best friends. So there's like 6 of you here, so don't tell anybody. Every time I open my car door represent a car door. Doesn't matter. But I've trained myself the last 4 or 5 years. When I touch a handle, I envision my next business dream. That is the only thing on my triggers that is 100% business. But you think about it. How often do you open a car door? And so when I trigger that, it might be that I don't have anything in my mind. But in my mind, and sometimes even out loud, I'll go, God, thank you for my businesses. Thank you for allowing me to be self-reliant so I could see important events with my kids. Thank you for the friendships I've made. It might be something as easy as that, but so important. Thank you for Chris. Thank you for Oscar. Thank you for the Mafia. Thank you for PNS. Thank you for the Phillips family. Thank you for Team Double Black. Thank you for all the different manufacturers that we work with. You look around the shop and all the signs. Thank you for software. It might be something silly, but those silliness, it means something. So every time I touch a car door, I'm not kidding you, I don't touch a car door without it triggering a business thought. And it took me a while to train myself, but now I cannot open, and it might be just a 3-second thought, but it's a trigger. And that's what I mean by a dimmer switch, is that I've taught myself to be very, very disciplined. And discipline is the key on all of this of being in potential mode, permanent potential mode. Say that fast 3 times. And so living the moment, this is one I really struggle with, but I'm getting really good. Last year's hardships, the last 24 months, let's just go back. Let's say it, because I'm not going to include 2023 in that, because we're starting to get healthy in 2023. 21 and 22. Were hardship years. There's some shit that went down that just wasn't cool, right? It just wasn't cool. Those years, actually, especially last year, especially what I went through in the summer, man, living in the moment. And I had something yesterday that went down, and I'm not going to share it publicly right now. It was something personal. It was something cool, but not cool. When I got done with that situation, I learned, holy shit, I think I've got this. I'm living in the moment. Finally, I think I've got this to where don't have it mastered, but I'm doing, for the first time in my life, I'm doing really good at enjoying just what's in front of me. Where I see this happening is I think we've got a youth right now coming up that does a lot better job than that. I think that we got a lot of young people that are doing a lot better job of living in the moment than we do. And so I let those people that I come across, that doesn't matter what generation you're from, I let those people influence me. And I really dig the living in the moment. It's a really hard thing to do because, again, dimmer switch is that I don't do well with that. Is that, I had some challenges in my background, and I don't mean criminal or anything else. I just had not a real easy. I got to be careful the way I say this. Other kids wouldn't have fared out so well. If you would have taken them out and put them in my environment, I was fine. But as I've grown, I realized, oh shit, that was tough. I'm so thankful I made it through. And my brothers didn't come through so easy. They had a little rougher. I used to think I had it rougher than them, but honestly, they had it a little rougher than me, and I'm thankful. So living in the moment is a big part of it. Next is, don't compare yourself. My dreams are all about my goals, not others. I don't want what others have, and they can't have what I have because it's mine. Simple as that. I have, it's been real hard. I've got billionaires that are customers. You go pick them up, and they get out of their private jet and they jump into their 911 GT3, and they drive to their 20,000 square foot home. It sounds nuts. The 911 I'll take. I'll take a Cessna single engine plane. I'll take a helicopter, an MD-500. I still dream that way, but I don't want what they've got. Theirs is theirs. I've got to go take and build my own. And I don't want what other people have, because I dig what I've built and I'm happy with what I built. And so even today, if you don't think there's challenges of that, you look at what's going on in the industry, there's other people doing things that I had ideas of doing. I just didn't go that direction. And so I could compare myself and say, why didn't I do that? Well, I didn't do that because I did what I did. And they didn't do what I'm doing because they're doing what they're doing. And so, and then the other thing is half of what you see people talking about on social media these days, unfortunately, 50% of them are bullshitting, they're liars, and they're broke. And so why do I want brokenness? Is I want greatness. And I want other people to succeed. And I want to take in and see people that are true to what they're putting up. I want to see people that are living their dream and building a great life and happy. I don't want to see misery. I don't want to see struggle. I don't want to see all the stuff that's behind the scenes. But unfortunately, we have to see it. So don't just dream big dreams, make them real. So what is this? I know what my limits are. And what I mean by that is I know that I don't want to be a billionaire. I've been around them. I know what they've given up. I was on a show, Undercover Billionaire, a great soul, a great guy, the host. He gave up a lot to get where he's at. He gave up a tremendous amount to get where he's at. And I just, his road was not easy, and he's something I'll never be, but I've got things he'll never have. And so I'm good with that. I like to own my stuff, you know. I don't like debt. I'd rather have something simple and paid for than something fancy and expensive. Could I afford it? Yeah, maybe there's a time where I'll splurge. You know, I still envision. I was out looking at my dream car. I've got a very simple, it's expensive dream car, but I was looking at it last night. I found not the ideal one, but close to it. You know, would I like to have that? I mean, when the time's right, there's other things I want. You know, there's other things I want to invest in. There's other things I want to do. And then I want joy, and I want to be able to give back to society. You know, if I could figure out a way to buy a MD 500, you know, C, D, or E model, and if you're helicopter fans, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, you can just take and type in, or you know, an MD 520 NOTAR. You know, I'll take one of those. If I could turn it into an asset, and if I could help people with it, I don't want to just go fly around. But, you know, if I could go and use it for when the sheriff's department, when we have a missing persons and the sheriff's department has to give up the search, at some point they have to, right? I'd love to have a nonprofit that goes out and brings out the helicopter and helps and brings out the horses and brings out the ground pounders. And we continue to look for that family's loved one that's missing, because government can only go so much and the budget's there. I'd love to build that up. That's my dream. That's what I get into for, you know, doing that. So lastly, dream, vision, plan, execute. This is something that I created in my mind. I don't even know how long ago, 40 years ago. I've been saying this to myself, dream it. Never stop dreaming. My dreams are very realistic. To some, they're far-fetched. Matter of fact, going back when I sold my first detailing company, my dreams were very unrealistic, and it became evident very quickly that they're unrealistic. So when I became, let's say 24, my dreams became reality. My dreams became what I am today. Matter of fact, from 24 on until 40, I was more the real me. From 40 to 50, I kind of lost me, and I've shared that many times, is that I've lost that. So dreams, you got to vision it. You got to plan for it. You got to execute it. You got to execute and go make them happen. And then you just keep repeating. So, wow. I went nonstop. My coffee's almost cold.
Now, I figured it was because you had a lot of coffee.
My first one. It's actually Luke Hot. And so we'll go with that. So, hey, Chris, anything to add to that?
Not much. You know, way early on in the podcast, you mentioned how contractors tend to be better at getting out and escaping on the weekends and all that kind of stuff. Do you think part of that's because they've also figured out how to price their services better than detailers
You just
have?
took the words out of my mouth. They've learned profitability, and they've ran legitimate businesses for decades longer than we have. And so they know what their survival number is, and I come out, I've got a minor in construction management, and they've known what their numbers are we're just figuring that out in the industry. There's a handful of people that figured it out a long time ago. But most we're just really legitimizing it. And so, yeah, they have, they're filling a need, and a lot of detailers fill a want. And that's really a want is, coatings. Coatings are a want. Yeah. And for a lot of people now, it's become a need. That's how good we've gotten, right? I mean, how great is that? But a need in the detailing industry, interiors will always be a need. It's always going to be a need. Doing a wash clay protect, a wash clay coat, that's going to be a need. People need to protect their cars, but they can do some of that at home. But you selling yourself, and again, why? I got it. The MacBook Pro I'm on right now is relatively new. 6 months. I want to tell you, man, when I got this new one, and I took it, the packaging was freaking. I mean, not that I would buy a Mac for the packaging, but I'll tell you, I'm talking about it 6 months after I bought it. I'm going to go get a new iPhone here in the next couple of weeks. Is the same thing. The way that Apple packages things creates a fan base. The way you package your things creates a fan base, but it's not. They're not buying from a shop. They're buying from you. You've got to package yourself right. You've got to make yourself that. I always tell people that you can build an amazing mobile unit. All of my shops started out mobile and went into a shop. We kept the mobile side going the entire time. We never shut the mobile side down. It was our premium service. And so a lot of people think, mobile's cheaper than fixed. No. It was our premium service. So back in the day when you'd call us up and you'd want, let's say we gave you a price of $600. If we're going to go out and do it mobile, it was $100 to $200 more to go mobile, depending on their location. And so contractors they've figured out the profit. They figured out their P&L. They figured out the tax break system. They figured out how to take and buy things and write things off. They're thinking like wealthy people. We're just now starting as an industry. There's people that's been there for a while, but now we're starting to get, a lot more percentages getting to that point. So great point. They've built themselves in a lifestyle. Now, a lot of them haven't, but my brother's contractors, and two of the four, and or two of the three, excuse me. There's four of us, but we, two of us, we're three of us were self-employed, most of our lives, and them as contractors, they were way ahead of me. But I use them as a way to take and build my businesses up the same way that contractors build theirs. That's why I think that we did so well in the industry at a time where people didn't do so well, is because we treated it different. And that was a good angle. It's a good point. With that, now next, what's that?
Oh, I was going to say, Nathan wants you to start a detailing church.
A detailing church. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, yeah. So, in the Guard, they're down. I've actually got a master's in world faith theology, and got it just because I was taking so many classes. I love history. I love biblical history. I took a lot of different, study classes on different faiths of the world, the greatest faiths of the world. I learned a tremendous amount. I love people of all faiths, especially after getting educated on some of these faiths. The ones that a lot of people think are ugly faiths are actually beautiful faiths. It's just different. They all come back kind of to a similar, ending. But yeah, I was told I cuss too much, and so it's but it's I am who I am, right? But I think in the MOF, I give a Sunday message, over on PNS Sundays, and then I give a Sunday sermon. And I almost feel guilty saying it that way within the Mafia, because it's about business and life. But I love sharing with people my experiences in life, and in the hopes that it will change, your future, and will change your mindset. And so I hope that we do that. So with that said, hey, what's up for next week, Chris? Now, in the meantime, while Chris is finding the topic for the next couple weeks, maybe even, is that make sure that, if you've enjoyed today's sermon, make sure to share it. We'd love to hear your comments. Put it over, we put it on all the different the video versions of it. Also, give us a good review. We'd love to take and have good reviews. We do this with the hopes that we change one person's perspective on things every week. We love to hear from, last time I heard from several people on the last, when we had Michael in. And and Michael heard from people. So that was really cool. So, if we've hit a chord with you on today's subject or another subject that we did, let us know. And so Renny at detailingsuccess.com, Chris at detailingsuccess.com. And with that said, what's up for the next couple of weeks on the podcast, Chris?
So next week, we have a guest coming in. We got Joe Kimball from Kimball's Detailing out in Washington. He was, I think, Detail Shop of the Year with the IDA, if I remember correctly.
Cool.
The following week on the 22nd, we are doing another Q&A show. So if you guys want to start thinking of a good question for that, you can start sending those in to us. And then the last week of the month, we have another guest coming in, Brian Guy. And you know Brian more than I do. So maybe you could
Brian,
tell these guys who he is.
Brian, I'll put it this way. Brian's just one of these great humans. I mean, he's had some struggles. I'm sure he's going to share that with us. He's been a detailer. He builds custom leather hats and leather goods now too, aside from detailing. He is just a human that's gone through some shit in life that loves to give back. And I'm really excited because his spirit and everything about him is just so powerful and so humble and so real that we've been trying to do this for a while, is to get Brian and I together. And we met years ago. We've shared some tears. We've shared some laughs. We've shared some good times together. And I'm really excited to bringing him on. He's a special soul. Joe Kimball, the same thing. I can't wait for him to share how they, about their journey, of owning a shop. And so, we're reaching out to people and bringing a lot more different people on, and it's exciting. It's exciting. And then the Q&As are always fun because some of the questions are pretty amazing. So,
oh yeah,
all right,
questions are always amazing.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, you guys all have a powerful rest of the week, and go out and do something nice for somebody today. God bless you all. You guys take care. We'll see you next time. Adios, guys.
See you guys.